Dead or Alive Extreme 3 is not coming to the United States. It was, even months ago, Tecmo said that it was doubtful whether or not they would bring it here. They said if they did, they'd probably have to do it in a somewhat altered form. Now, that is not that uncommon. They do this, the PlayStation Vita has a lot of what you might consider racy RPGs or games, and a lot of these companies do some self-censoring to get the game released here, or in a way that they think the U.S. market will find palatable. So the game's not coming here. For those of you who do not know what Dead or Alive Extreme, the series, is about, it is a beach volleyball series, usually with other mini games, lots of swimsuit collecting.
Was it on the first two were on Xbox?
It was on the Xbox.
PS2?
It was on the Xbox. The Xbox 360 had the second one, and the PSP had a spin-off one. I'll bring up the last two in a second.
It's all about playing with jiggly physics, boobs, getting bikinis and lingerie, and
it's fun, it's cute, and goddammit, I love this sort of cheesecake. But it's not coming here. And Play Asia is an importer, probably at this point, the biggest importer. And when Koei Tecmo officially announced that they were not bringing it here, initially there was nothing said by Koei Tecmo. We'll get into that. For whatever reason, PlayAsia decided that they felt the appropriate course of action was to say that the game was not being brought here due to SJW nonsense. SJW would be Social Justice Warrior.
However, we will have the English Asia version available, which I guess it means there's subtitles.
Yes, Asia version. So, yeah, I was going to get to that. So, then they immediately go into sales pitch mode. Because the English, Asia region games. So Asia region games are separate from Japan region games in that not always, but there is a chance that an Asia region game, likely because it's being sold in Hong Kong, will have English subtitles.
And it won't cost it that much to put that in anyway.
Right. So that's what they're trying. So they wanted to promote that. I could say a lot of things, but here's a couple things that I'm just going to say. I'm going to try to bullet point it because I don't really want to go off the rails on this here. First of all, the only people that I know that I've talked to so far who have even known about this game and expressed interest in it have been people that you could consider socially liberal, which often gets called SJW. Two, really weird business decision to mix politics with business or social or social
which I'll talk about in a bit.
Social situations with business. Bad fucking idea, guys. Because whether you are on one side or another, or you're indifferent, it makes your business look immature and unprofessional.
It's good for attention, though, which we'll get into.
We will. Going down the line. Shit, you derailed me.
I wish you had these bullet points on the document.
So and then initially, Tecmo did not say why it wasn't coming out here. A day later, an employee from Tecmo had said that why would this come to the United States? If they saw how we treated the women in this game, there would be a backlash. The day later, also, because this is what surprised me, I had not heard of any outcry over this game. Not in the months leading up to it. And it was advertised. People knew about it.
Was it advertised for here, though?
No, I mean, people were talking about it. It was previewed on sites and things like that. And there were people on one side trying to find information on the game leading up to this announcement that would show an enormous amount of backlash. And even they, digging as deep as they could, could not find it. So, and the last thing is, I do want to say this before you launch in, and then we'll do a little back and forth. I want to point out that maybe the reason Dead or Alive Extreme 3 isn't coming to the U.S. is because Part 2 and Paradise on the PSP sold abysmally and got abysmal review scores. And
I'm not sure how you can get a bad review in a game that's just boobs and butts.
Well, right, but if there is no financial incentive for a company to bring this out, and you have to understand, these two games that I'm referencing came out well before there was this outcry over, the portrayal of women in games. They just didn't sell. They got bad reviews because they were crap games.
Did the first one sell?
The first one sold.
I was going to say, I think I own a copy. I picked up this one.
No, the first one sold well enough, and it has really good volleyball in it. And
is the volleyball actually pretty decent?
It's fun. In the second one, I like that shit because it's dumb and cheesy.
I like that stuff. How can the second one get worse reviews when it's just the same game with better graphics?
Because they ruined the volleyball. Oh. The actual gameplay took a major shit dive. So before you go, here's the thing. I'm probably actually going to buy Dead or Alive Xtreme 3. I have to see what kind of DLC they have, because Dead or Alive 5, the actual fighting game, which I adore, currently has over $100 worth of DLC bikinis. Which also, to go back, this is not really a matter, I don't think, of how the women are portrayed, because they are still selling $100 worth of bikini DLC for a game that was released in the US officially.
Okay, lots of things to hit on. We're going to start with the decision not to bring it here. I think it's a strange decision, and I think it's Dead or Alive Xtreme. I guess I dropped the Volleyball 2 came out in 2006, so we're talking 9 years. So I don't think from Tecmo Koei, the decision not to come out with it, localize it here, based upon the fact that the last one didn't sell well. It's 9 years. We're talking about a new generation of gamers for the most part. You could have done it. It would not have cost you a huge amount to get voice acting. To do whatever, how many girls are in here, 12, 15, 16?
9, actually.
There's only 9.
Which is why I'm fairly certain it's going to be laden with DLC.
Okay, so there's only 9, so they can still do it if they wanted to. Hire 9 voice actors. What are you talking about? $25,000 to localize it? I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. It's not a huge amount of money. We're not talking about the amount of voice acting that's going into Elder Scrolls Skyrim or whatever. You could do that. So I don't know if I totally believe anyone here when they say we were afraid or not afraid of backlash. I don't know there's only any way to know. Because the only way I found out about this game was hearing about this controversy.
Right.
I had no idea it was coming out. That said, I think in this climate, you would have to be foolish to think that there would not be some sort of backlash against this new game coming out. There would be. The extent of it, I have no idea. There would be. So Tecmo Koei, I'm not saying that totally was the reason for their decision, but that probably was in the back of their head at some point to think, is it going to be worth for us to come out with this game 9 years later? No one cares about it. Plus, we might have backlash. Fuck it, we're not doing it. That could have been their thought process. I'm not saying it was a major proponent. It could have been there, though.
Just to interject real quick, but then why are they? Then why do they keep releasing skimpy bikini DLC for their fighting game?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the fact that this was totally no fighting at all, and it is what it is. This is a softcore porn game. Maybe that's the reason why. And there has been a mainstream release of a game like this since this one. Has there been a game of this stature from a mainstream company that's come out like this since 2006? Yeah,
well, I mean, this is another part that I want to bring up. I bring this series up a lot because it's my definition of where this sort of stuff works. The Senran Kagura games come out, and they've released 3 in the United States so far, and they are basically nothing but boobs and ninjas fighting. I mean, you fight the other person's clothes off, and you know what? To very, very little backlash. Why? Because of context. Because of how the game is framed. And I feel like if Dead or Alive Xtreme 3 had come out here, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that someone wouldn't take it too far and be horribly offended by it, but it's the framing. No one is buying this expecting a serious story or RPG, and then they see a chick with midriff and boob armor. They know that this is a skimpy beach volleyball game.
Okay, so Dead or Alive 5 came out, this year?
No, Dead or Alive 5 has had multiple iterations. I think the first one came out 3 years ago.
Okay. Was there people complaining about the jiggle booby physics and that?
No,
they didn't care?
Because it's Dead or Alive, and that's what people expect.
Okay. So I think you're looking at the fact that maybe it doesn't sell well. Maybe they're afraid a little bit. Whatever. We don't know what Tecmo Koei's thinking. Totally. They still have DLC on their other game. Fine. Now we'll talk about PlayAsia. It's never really a good idea to interject any sort of political, social, religious sort of outlook into your business. Obviously, if people find out about it, like Chick-fil-A, people find out about it and they get pissed about it. But to overtly do it, it's usually not good. I think though, what PlayAsia did here was took a calculated risk. And so far, it's paid off.
I think it didn't, but I'll respond.
They've got a lot of we'll just say play over this. Their Twitter blew up.
Sure.
They were below 10. I think below 10,000. People said, "Let's boycott Play Asia." Which, okay, if you want to do that, but honestly, a lot of people probably pushing that probably never bought anything from them anyway. But now they're over.
I have, but anyways, I know.
But you're not the bulk of it promoting a boycott. But now you have over 25,000 followers. Play Asia. They probably got a lot of people didn't know they existed. They now know about them. They took a risk. It's their business. They're out of Hong Kong. You know, they want to promote these sort of games for their business. So maybe they figured, oh, we're going to get some people on our side. Was it misguided? Probably a little bit, at least. Is it going to work out? We'll see long term. If it dents their sales or improves it.
Here's my thinking on that. Okay, yeah, no, so you're absolutely right. It got them a lot of press, and it got them a lot of Twitter followers in the following days. But we're talking about a softcore porn game here, and if you read some of the absolutely hilarious petitions that came out afterwards for, you know, Koei Tecmo to reconsider their thoughts, I'm not saying all, but a lot of these people are teenagers or younger people who aren't going to buy the game anyway. And even if they're not teenagers, how many people are actually going to spend the $80 to import what will likely be a shitty DLC-laden...
$80, really?
Yeah. A shitty DLC-laden softcore porn anime volleyball title. Probably me, but hey, I discovered Yes Asia, so I'll be ordering from them. It's just... I don't think it's going to translate into a lot of sales, and I also think it's kind of fucked up because I have no idea how they could do this. When you went to their website afterwards, I don't know if they still have it. Right on their rotator, exclusive Asia release. Yeah, it's not exclusive. You don't have exclusive access to a region's release. I know of at least 3 other websites where you can get the Asian release.
I thought they probably meant exclusively to Asia, not that they're an exclusive retailer.
Well, yes, but it's still misleading because it just says Asia release English language and then exclusive across the top.
Oh, okay, I'm looking right there. It says Dead or Alive Xtreme 3 Venus Asia exclusive.
That's misleading at best.
I don't think to me it doesn't say they're the exclusive retailer of it, but okay.
At best.
Okay. All right.
So
I'll agree to disagree there. Either way, we're going to see what happens. I mean, they're still selling that Retro Freak system. I got to get the Retro Freak at some point.
You like video game boobs? It's cool. Just, I mean, like there are places where it just makes sense, and it makes sense here. And it doesn't have to be an us versus them thing for this sort of thing.
I would say this: if they run, to me, I don't know the political slants, social slants of the people that own almost every business. You know what? I love DQ Blizzards.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell their political slants are.
DQ Blizzards are pretty good.
If they came out tomorrow and said, you know, we're up for killing kittens, you know what? I might still go enjoy a nice Blizzard DQ.
I wouldn't. This is where we differ, Blizzard. But I wouldn't.
I might still do that if their product is good, as long as they're not actively harming someone. I'm not saying if they really insult you by saying SJW, which then they could have mean it in the extreme left-wing sense of the word. I don't know.
To me, it was simply the fact that it was an unprofessional knee-jerk reaction before anything was said.
If you can look past that, and if they still do good business with you, you can look past that. If you're looking for a reason to get pissed at them and you don't like them, that's fine. If it really touched you off in some way, you don't want to do business, that's fine. I'm saying is, for the most part, I don't care what these businesses think or say as long as they do good business. That's just me personally.
But they probably shouldn't put it out so openly.
They shouldn't.
You just said that about Chick-fil-A. They really should not make this a calculated risk where they try to get people on their side. People who, like I said, probably aren't going to buy an $80 fucking softcore porn game.
No, but Chick-fil-A doesn't have a banner saying their beliefs. That's just what the people that own the business believe.
But Play Asia just did that with their tweet.
Sure. What I'm saying is if you can get past that, whatever. You know, if you want Play Asia to be your one-stop shop for softcore Asia porn games, and it has been for 10 years, you probably still buy from them. Maybe a small percentage won't. Whatever.
I'm a fucking old salt in softcore porn Asian games, so I know where to go.
You're going back to the late 90s. You're going back to Strip Fighter 2.
I know where to go.
On the PC Engine.
Yeah.